Welcome everyone to Little Roadie Wargaming. I'm Ryan, this is Ted, and Will's behind the camera for our first chain of command pint-sized campaign where we'll be fighting over Operation Martlet. So here's the British campaign briefing. With the planned Epsom offensive to be launched tomorrow, the 26th of June, 1944, High Command are keen to see the high ground around Ruray captured in order to protect the flank of our main attack from both the potential of a counterattack from that direction and the danger posed by enemy observers using the commanding ground. As a result, you have been tasked with attacking into Fontenay-le-Pencel, and then advancing southwards to capture the high ground at Ruray. There will be two-phase operation. Firstly, secure the main road running through Fontenay, and then use that as a jump-off point for the push southwards across the open country into Ruray itself. You have two forces available for the operation. A platoon of the 11th Royal Scot Fusiliers will take the lead, taking and securing Fontenay before a platoon of the 7th Duke of Wellington's regiment takes over for the second phase to the south. You will have a powerful concentration of artillery fire to support your attack at all phases, not just the initial assault. This is your brigade's first action since Norway 4 years ago, and you intend to make it a success. Now the German campaign briefing. For the past 3 weeks, you have faced the British invaders in a slogging match which continues without abatement. Whatever you expect of the Tommies, you have been surprised by their ability to keep throwing in attack after attack. Their supplies of ammunition are seemingly limitless, as are the number of tanks they can field. To date, it has only been your determination which has allowed you to confine them to a coastal strip and deny them the city of Caen. Over the past week, the weather has kept enemy air power relatively quiet. You have heard rumors of another attack in your sector. Indeed, the enemy seems to be constantly pushing against your outpost line and snatching ground, which you then spill blood to regain. In the last few days, you have moved into position in and around Fontenay-le-Pencel. The pioneers have done their best to create strong points from which you can dominate the ground. Your numbers are reduced, no replacements or reinforcements have joined you since the landings, but you have been reinforced with some tanks to bolster your defenses. Sadly, your stock of mines and wire have all been used and you have no fresh supplies as yet. Your objective is to retain your main line of resistance through Fontenay. If necessary, you can call on armor to counterattack against the British, as well as those who have been allocated to support you. So the first table is scenario 1, the probe into Fontenay. This scenario sees the Royal Scots launch their attack into the northern edges of Fontenay. This is a probe scenario where the German outpost line will withdraw if the British player can exit any team off their base line. So to go over some of the terrain rules here and some of the special rules for this scenario, we'll start with terrain first. All of the buildings are strong Norman buildings. They're made of reinforced wood and stone. They will all be hard cover. Other sources of hard cover are some of these stone walls here, which will count as medium obstacles. These high walls in around this little orchard farm here and off on the edge of the table are completely line of sight obstructing. The only thing with sufficient weight to crash through them are fully tracked fighting vehicles, but they can be bogged down. We have a few large hedgerows here. These are not the impenetrable hedgerows from some of the other fronts, but they do block line of sight unless you're within 2 inches of them. It is also hard cover, and they are medium obstacles as well. We have some light hedges here, and some of the scattered trees are just for aesthetics. The fields here are broken ground, and they will provide light cover if you are stationary in the previous phase. We also have a small orchard back here. That's all the orchard rules that come from the core rulebook. And the last real piece of terrain we have to talk about here is this little monument. Within the monument itself, it'll be hard cover unless you're being fired upon from a second-story window. Then it's more concealment than it is cover, and it will be light cover. Roads, they're all hardened roads. It's a dry season, so they will act just as normal roads will. Now, as discussed in the briefing, there is a very heavy artillery barrage on the German position, so it will work just like a pregame barrage will. However, in order to bring troops on, it will be a -1, so only a 5 or 6 will see the Germans deploy onto the table. However, just like a preparatory bombardment, it will go away. The British are attacking out of the mist. So on the first turn of the game, in order to bring any forces on, you will roll as if there is no senior leader present. If they do not come on in that first turn, they're set aside. The British player, which is going to be me, has the second turn to try to bring them on. If they don't come in on a 4, 5, or 6 on that second turn, they will not take part in this battle. We will only play one patrol phase to put down our jump-off points. If this table is played again in any subsequent games, it is completely persistent. So buildings will remain the same, jump-off points will stay exactly where they were at the end of the game, as well as any fortifications or destroyed buildings or destroyed walls. Now, let's move on to the patrol phase.
Germans playing the defender here. So I get 6 support points. I'm going to take a sniper team. I'm going to take an entrenchment for a dug-in tank. And I'm going to take an entrenchment for 1 team. So my goal is to put the sniper up the 2nd floor of this building, since that's how it kind of rolled out. Put the entrenchment for the tank somewhere over here somewhere, so I can cover the majority of the field. And then pour heavy fire in this concentration, being that's where his deployment points are. And try to cut this quick, easy access off here. So that's what I got.
All right, so I managed to get a jump off point here on the table edge. one in this house and one right behind here, and this is going to be kind of my focal point because all I have to do is get a team off this, starting line for the Germans. So for support, I decided to try to go quantity over quality. I took an AVRE because if I can get it on, I can cause some wild casualties. But I also took another regular infantry team with junior leader to try to get more troops onto the board given the mist, and another 2-inch mortar smoke or 2-inch mortar team for that smoke because that's just British bread and butter right there. So as far as plans, I'm going to try to get as much as I can off of this jump off point and just run up this side of the board as fast as I can. If I have to, I can maybe deploy a Bren team or something up here to provide some covering fire, but hopefully I won't need it. Really only concern in jump off point is the one with the Germans that go back here because they can cover here. And off of this deployment point, if they're able to get stuff on fast, they might be able to get back into this orchard to try to block me. But I'm just going to have to see how many men make it through the mist, and if I can move jump off points forward, cool. If not, I'm not afraid to withdraw to save casualties. So let's see if it works. Okay, so here is the British platoon for the campaign. These are the Royal Scots Fusiliers. And they are led by a friend of the channel, and hopefully he will be in some of our battle reports later on, a Lieutenant Pat Callahan. He is 23 years old and remarkably overweight for the Army. His occupation before the war was a minor public school teacher. We rolled for our outlooks, and he is thoughtful. He is assisted by Sergeant Tommy Atkins, age 39, a broad and tall, a barrel of a man, and he worked as an office clerk. So going left to right, we have the two sections. They are comprised of a 6-man rifle team and a 3-man Bren team, led by a junior leader who is a corporal. And the first one is Corporal Dennis Campbell. He's 22, of average build, and he was a factory worker. Section 2 is led by Corporal Freddie McDonald. He is 42 years old, tall and thin, and a colonial. And Section 3 is led by Corporal Reese Young, a barrel of a man, age 21, and he worked on a farm. The remaining two parts of the British platoon is the 2-inch mortar and a Piat team. We rolled for force morale, and they are sitting at a force morale of 9. And here we have the German platoon for the campaign. They're the 12th SS, and it is a senior leader who can dole out 3 Panzerfaust 30s and 3 squads. Each squad is led by a junior leader with a machine pistol, and they have 2 3-man MG42 teams consisting of an MG42 with 3 crew. And to bolster the force due to a lack of manpower is a Panzer IV. So they are led by Lieutenant Nils Oberlander, age 21, of average physique. He came from a middle-class home, and his father is a veteran of World War II. Well, Nils is going to be a veteran of World War II. His father was a veteran of World War I. For junior leaders, we have Sergeant Justin, if I can read this handwriting correctly, Justin Pentel, age 25, of average build, and he was a rural farmhand. For section Squad 2, we have Sergeant Jorn Grabner, age 21, of average builds, from the inner city. And the third one is Sergeant Hans Wegman, age 22, also of average physique, and he too was a rural farm boy. Now, let's move on to the action. Oh, but first, they're also sitting at a force morale of 9. Now let's move on to the first British phase. Okay, so first British phase. Okay, good. I don't immediately end the turn. I was concerned that might be a thing, but 6, 2, 5, so 2 points in a chain of command die, a 1 and a 2. So with a 1, I managed to get this my support 2-inch mortar team through the mist off of this jump off point. But my other support option did not make it on. So here is the German roll. Okay, so a 1, 2 threes, a 4, and a 5. Not a bad roll. Let's see if that can get anything through the barrage. Okay, so Ted managed to get a sniper through the barrage, and I got my eyes closed, so he's going to show you guys where they are. Okay, I have a pretty good idea where they might be if I were Ted, but so now he's going to take a shot at my mortar team, hitting on a 3. Okay, so it hits. They are in the open, so let me get a die. Any shock is doubled shock, and kill could be bad. Okay, so one of them is killed. Lovely. Okay. And the only... So with the 2 threes, Ted tried to bring 2 squads in. They failed, and he's not doing anything with the 4. So we will come around here. Okay. It's a double phase. 2 chain of commands. And a 1. So I can activate my mortar team that is now down to 1 man. So I'll show you where he winds up. Okay, so got a 6-inch move and got him back behind this high wall here. So we'll roll the British double phase. And it's another double phase. 2 chain of command points, so that's a full chain of command die. And 1 point on the other. But I have a 3. So, let's see.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't get an extra die. You only get 2 points. You had 4, and 2 is 6, so you don't need the extra one.
Math. It did only have 4, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so with the 3, I'm going to try to bring on section number 1. And they will come on. I'll show you where they end up. So with them finding their way through the mist, section 1 deployed 6 inches off this jump off point and went on Overwatch. So we are dropping... How we're playing the double phases, if you roll a double phase, you play the next phase with full dice. If you roll a double phase then, you drop a die on the next one and continue to drop a die should you continue rolling double phases. So here I go with 4 dice. I get a chain of command, a 1, a 3, and a 4. So we'll see what I can make work with this. So with the 1, the mortar team moved up, and then with the 3, I activated the junior leader that was here. He ran the whole section up this way, getting 16 inches, and pulled a point of shock off of the Bren team. And with the 4, Lieutenant Callahan tried to find his way through the mist, but got lost. So here's the German phase. And, well, 4 chain of command points and a 2. Yeah, we'll show you what he tries to do with the 2. He tried to bring a section on with the 2 and rolled a 1. So, British phase. 2, 3, 4, 4. So with one of the 3s, the junior leader ran up this section again, getting 8 inches, pulled a point of shock. So now both the rifle team and the Bren team have a point of shock. And we're going to go into the German phase. 1, 2, 2, 4, 4. That's a better roll than last time. So Ted tried to bring 2 sections on through the barrage, was unable. So another chain of command. And 1, 1, 3, 4. So with the 3, I activated the junior leader that was on that section, pulled the point of shock, and then with this, I activated the section itself. They ran, getting 10 inches, which got them off the board. So that's the end of the game. I'm honestly really, really shocked. My patrol phase went exactly the way I wanted it. I got a jump off point really, really far up the board. And then I just got stupidly lucky with my dice rolls. It was not a interesting game for either Ted nor I. So if we can manage to get hopefully we can get another game in, we'll just see if we can tack it onto this video if time permits. But my plan went exactly the way I wanted it to, and I got lucky enough to do it. Ted, what was your plan? How did you kind of envision this particular battle going?
Not this quick.
Yeah, me neither. Remember how I said at the beginning, if I managed to win table 1 on the first turn,
Yeah.
I would be thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
I might want to go buy a lottery ticket when I leave here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I ain't get nothing on the table except for my sniper team. So, it's a pretty kills any plan I had.
Yeah, not being able to get onto the board kind of kills any plan. I thought I was going to have a lot harder of a time making it through the mist.
I didn't expect you to get up the board quite so quickly. Those 3 free moves in the beginning seemed...
Yeah, I got very lucky on that patrol phase being able to... I think that's just kind of what this whole thing comes down to, is I just got stupidly lucky. And hey, it's got to happen sometime, right? If we were playing sharp practice, I wouldn't have gotten anything onto the board. But
it's a beautiful table.
Yeah, it's a great table. Enjoy it while it's still here, and we'll see if we can get the next one set up. If not, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're looking forward to the campaign. This is a rough start for the Germans, but hopefully the campaign will become a little bit more interesting, and we plan to have fun with it. We hope you do too. Pushing on. Scenario 2, pushing on. In this scenario, British troops attempt to push through the sprawling village of Fortenay towards the German main line of defense. They must clear this position before they can progress further. So this is based on scenario 3, attack and defend. So each side just needs to attempt to make the other one leave the table, either voluntarily or through a destruction of force morale. However, the British need to stay at a force morale of 3 or higher. So to go over some of the terrain here, just like last time, all the hedges, they're pretty dense, so they are hard cover, and they are line of sight obstructing unless you're within 2 inches. All of the buildings are hard cover. These walls here are line of sight obstructing, and they are high obstacles. The hedges are medium obstacles. This is also a hedge, as are some of the hedges that are lining this orchard here. We actually ran out of hedges, but we should have some more on the way. Roads get all the main benefits from the core rulebook. And these here are orchards, so they will count with the orchard rules. As far as force morale goes, the British are at an 11, and the Germans are at 8. There were no casualties to the core platoon, so after we worked everything out with the at the sharp end campaign supplements, the Germans maintained the retiring opinion, though I think their men got a little bit happier about not losing any men. The British CO opinion went up, and the Lieutenant Callahan's outlook became content. So there are 4 patrol markers for each side. The British started at the end of the road there. The Germans are from here back. The British, I rolled a 5 for free moves, so they've already moved forward. And after we play out the patrol phase, we're each going to be placing down 3 objective markers. Now, let's get on with the rest of the patrol.
Hopefully the Germans can get on the board this time. So I have to kill everything. That's the goal, all the morale. So I'm going to, I took the AFV, the entrenchment. I'm going to put that right here on this crossroads here. Gives my tank optional targeting, and I can skedaddle if need to. I could got an artillery piece, the LEFG 18. I can put it here again, doubles up my power, and then I've got a emplacement for a unit. So I'm going to put a sandbag emplacement over here on this side to cover this zone here with one of my machine gun teams, and then everyone else will just skedaddle and find cover and try to represent this time.
Okay, so I have a jump off point in the middle of this barn here. I have one in the orchard back here, and I have one right there on the road. So for support, I brought the AVRE, I'm bringing a Firefly, and I'm bringing another 2-inch mortar because, you know, smoke. Plan is I'm going to try to use this forward jump off point to get some men into these windows here. That way they can get fire on these 2 jump off points. With the tanks having to come in off the road, I can keep this pretty well covered, and I can try to use my other 2 infantry sections to deploy up into this orchard and then to maybe swing around this way and see if I can just keep them hemmed in. Really, I think I'm just gonna, if I can, try to take out his Panzer IV so I don't have to worry about that until he gets some replacement platoon, and let the AVRE do what the AVRE does best and traumatize Germans with the sound of a giant spring. So that's the British plan.
Alright guys, on Will, my plan is to use the Rancor.
All right, so you heard the plans, and we start with the British phase. And 6, the Rancor's guarding that. 6, 1, 2, 2, 4. All right, let's see what I can make of that. So with the 4, I brought the platoon sergeant in, and there he is. And with the 2, I brought a squad section in here, section 1. Section 2 was brought in by adding the 1 and the 2 together. They deployed off this jump-off point and are overwatching this area. And that's it. So, German phase. All right, 6 chain of commands, and a 1, 2, and a 4. So with the 2, Ted was able to bring this squad on through the barrage. One of the teams has an emplacement, and they are firing down the road onto that section there. So it's 16 shots. It's over 18 inches, so it's needing 5s. Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits.
okay, so 3 on each. Will, could you hand me 6 dice, please? 6 British dice. Okay. So they are in the open. So this will be 3 on the Bren team. So, 2 dead from the Bren team. And the rifles. Nothing for the rifles. So, is the leader hit? Is not. So 2 dead from the Bren team. And they will fire back. Okay, so the Bren team is down to only 4 shots and 6 shots from the rifles, needing 5s or 6s. And 1. 1 hit. I would say that probably goes on the team that's not in cover.
That would make sense.
So 5s or 6s are kills. Okay, 1 of them is killed. Is it your leader? It is not. Okay. So Overwatch comes off, and we'll see what Ted does with the rest of his dice. Okay, so Ted tried to bring something mysterious through the barrage, but it didn't happen. So double phase for the British with a chain of commands and 2 4s. Oh, okay. So with the senior leader, the men went to go into the first floor of the building, got an abysmal roll, and got to the door. But it's a double phase, so it's another double phase. This seems reminiscent. Another chain of command points, and a 1 and a 3. Okay, so with the 3, the junior leader over there just moved his men up to the hedge and transferred a man over to the Bren team. With a 1, the support choice, light mortar, came on, fired a shot, got a 5, and put that 3-inch ball of smoke directly in front of them. But I have another double phase. I've dropped a die. Okay, so 2, 3, and a 4 with a chain of command point. So with the 4, tried to fire a smoke here. It drifted to the left, hit here. The men that were here moved into the first floor of the house.
Oh, right.
The men that were over there moved in there on a 2, and then on a 3, the aviary came on with Overwatch. So here's the German phase. 2 chain of command points, a 4 and a 2. Okay, so with the 2, we managed to get someone through the barrage. They deployed up here into these windows, and he's firing onto the Brits on the first floor. So 16 shots, needing 5s and 6s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Okay. In typical Africa Core Dice fashion, it's ridiculous. Okay, so 4 hits on the Bren team, hard cover. That is 3 points of shock on the Bren. And on the rifle team, we have 2 dead. Is it a leader? It is not a leader. Okay, so we'll get that marked up. Okay, so the last die you had was a 4, and he's not doing anything with that yet. So British phase, taking some casualties here. Okay, so 6, 5, move it up to 4 on the chain of command, if I can find it. 3 and 2 4s. Okay. So with the 3, the AVRE moved up 10 inches. With one of the 4s, I discard it because I'm keeping a senior leader off the table. And the other 4 removed 2 points of shock off the Bren team and is ordering the whole section to return fire. So, needing 5s or 6s. 3, 4, 5 hits. 6 hits. I too can roll 5s and 6s head. So, 3 and 3. There's that. So I'm going to say this window there. That's a dead. And on the other one, nothing. Is it your leader? It is not. So 1 dead from one of the teams. And that's it for the British. Okay, so here's the German activations. 1, 3, 4, 4, 5. Okay, so with one of the 3, the squad in the house is returning fire, needing 5s and 6s.
2.
Just 2? Okay. I'll do 1 on each. 1 on the Bren. Nothing. 1 on the rifles. Nothing. Okay.
Disappointing.
And you have a 1. And 2 4s. Are you bringing a senior leader around?
No.
Okay, then the 4s are useless.
I'll try to bring something on.
Bring something mysterious through the brush? You don't. Okay. So, come around the sport pole. And onto the British phase.
Wow.
Okay. I'll make that work. I combined 2 1s to move them a further 6 inches into the orchard, and then combined the other 2 1s, and I'm going to be firing that squad there at the German squad in the yellow house. So 5s or 6s. 2, 4 hits.
This one.
This window, point of shock. Other window, nothing. So 1 point of shock, and onto the German phase.
I'm dead 2 5s.
Well, there's 2 5s, a 4 and a 1.
Would you like to end the barrage?
Well, the turn would end at the end of this phase, if you elected to end the turn. It would make deploying so much easier.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely going to do that, but I might as well try.
You're 1 again?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. The mysterious one does not come through the brush. And then ending the turn?
End of the turn.
Okay. So at the end of the turn,
The smoke goes away.
yep, the smoke goes away and the barrage stops. So we'll get back with the British phase. All right, British phase. Double phase.
Every time.
And a chain of command point. So up to 5 with a 3 and a 1. So with the 3, the section came onto the board, and with the 1, tried to get a 3-inch smoke right there. Instead, drifted over there. So we go on to the next British phase, and I got a chain of command point, a 1, 3, and a 4. So with the 3, I tried to get this team across and through this little gap. It didn't happen. They just cleared this out of the road. With the 1, the mortar tried to fire onto here, but it drifted back 6 inches. And then with the 4, I pulled a point of shock. I had the rifle team cover fire those windows, and the Bren team is firing. So needing 5s and 6s. And I get 3 hits.
You both are going stupid today.
It's been one of those days.
I'm gonna
All
put
right.
1 on this one now,
Okay. Here's a point of shock.
and 2 on this one, obviously.
Nothing. So this just goes up. Oh, no, not 10 shock, 2 shock. Okay. And we move on to the German phase. 2, 3, 4, 4. All right, so the third and final squad has come on with a 2, and it's going to be firing at the British there, needing 4s.
Did you throw the machine pistol in there?
No, I only have enough dice to do the machine guns first. I still
No,
have
you
to-
can throw 2 in for the
You can reroll 2.
MP.
Well, right, I know, but I still got the rifles that gotta roll.
No, the rifles don't
The
roll.
rifles don't roll?
No. They're part of the crew.
I'm so confused.
Okay, so 2 needing 5s or 6s because that's long range. And it's 2 hits. Gack dice.
10,
11.
11,
Jeez. So 5 on one,
6 on the
6 on the other. I get to choose where the 6th one goes because they're in hardcover.
6 on the rifles, 1 on the gun.
Yeah, I'll do 6 on the rifles. So here's the rifles, hardcover. 2 shock and a dead on the rifles. And on the Bren. Oh, Bren team's wiped out.
Well, you get your
Well, maybe. Is one of my leaders it?
if he's still alive, he's got 2 shock.
Yeah. It is one of my leaders. So on a 4, 5, 6, it's the senior. It is the senior. He's killed. The platoon sergeant is killed. So bad things happen. 2. We'll figure that out. So the Bren team is down to 1 with 2 shock. And the senior leader is killed. So the senior leader came on with a 4, pulled the point of shock from there, and is firing. You're needing 6s because they're covering fire.
2.
2? Okay. I can deal with 2.
Can you?
Maybe. Maybe. All right. So Bren team, nothing. Rifle team, nothing.
Well, you still got a 3 left.
Yeah. And with the 3, we'll let you figure that out. All right. So with the 3, Ted tried to bring on the tank, but with the senior leader being on the table, it didn't come on. So here's the British phase. Oh, jeez.
What'd you roll?
3 5s.
Okay.
A 1 and a 3. Let's see what I do. All right, so with the 3, the squad just ran out of the house, and with the 1, I brought a Piet on. So come around the sport pole and onto the German phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you got a straight. Let's see what you can do with it. So with a 1, he brought on the League 18 infantry gun to fire right down the road. But I used a chain of command die to jump these guys over the hedge. He's using a 4 now to have the senior leader yell out the window at these guys, hey, I heard movement in the orchard. They moved with 1d6 to just get to the hedge and are firing with half effect. 9 dice, needing 4s, 5s, and 6s.
4.
4? Okay. So they're on light cover. And Bren team is 2 points of shock. Rifle team, 1 point of shock. So 2 shock on the rifles, 1 shock on the Bren. With the last 2, he pulled that squad back to make sure they're not in AVR range from the infantry gun. So, British base. Got chain of command points.
I have expected to get him double. This way you could get up close and personal.
And 3, 3, and a 1. So with one of the 3s, this section just moved back through the orchard to get out of line of sight. Another 3, this section moved up, staying 2 inches off the hedge. For the 1, the other mortar came in. With a 3, my last bit of support, the Firefly came on. And with the last 3, the AVRE is going to be firing onto the infantry gun. So it reduces the hedge down to light cover, but then it's got a gun shield, so it's back at heavy cover. But it's 16 HE hitting on 4s. Okay, so that is 3, 6, 7, all onto your infantry gun in hardcover.
5s and 6s are bad.
Three shock. Okay, that could have been better, but I will take it. Okay. So 3 shock, and we move on to the German phase, because that's it for the Brits. All of your senior leaders can activate, Ted,
Outstanding.
plus a team. So the infantry gun moved back off the hedge. The senior leader had the men on the second floor go down to the first floor. And this squad here ran around the corner. So move on to the British phase. And also both of those teams get a point of shock for running. All right, British phase.
Call it, or...
Okay, so with one of the threes, the aviary just moved flat out, got a 12-inch roll. With another one of the threes, this squad here moved up on 1d6 and is going to fire with half effect on them. And then with another 3, pulled 2 points of shock over there. The Bren team shifted up on the 2, and they're going to be putting shots into them. So we'll start with the 6 shots from this section here onto the Germans in the open, getting 5s or 6s. And I get 2 hits, so that's 1 on both teams, and they're in the open. So first machine gun team, it's 1 shock, and nothing on the other one. Okay, and then needing 4s from the Bren onto this squad in the open on the road. And it gets 2 hits, so 1 on each. The first one's a kill. Second one goes out of the box. The other one doesn't land in the box, so that's 2 kills. Is one of them your leader? It is not. So 1 dead out of each. And that's the end of the British phase. All right, and German phase. It's a double phase with a 1, 1, and a 5. So the squad and the senior leader just got out of the house, moving towards that orchard, and German double phase, so another. Okay, that's better. 1, 2, 2, and a 3. Okay, so with one of the 3s, Ted brought on the Panzer IV right onto the road, and he's got a clear shot down at the Firefly. You're using both command initiatives to get to +1. All right, so you need 4 on. Okay, so you got it exactly. So you have a strike of 9. And I have armor 4, so you need 5s or 6s. Just knowing these dice. Oh, 2. Okay. Come on. Come on, Sherman armor. I get 1. So that is 1 net hit. So if you roll a d6 on the 1 net hit, and we'll go check the table. 6. That's not great. All right, let's go take a look. So that 1 net hit was 2 shock on the tank, and with the 2, moved the squad back off the road. That squad moved up to the hedge, and the infantry gun just moved around to change its facing. And we go on to British phase. Okay, 2 3s and a 4. That's what I was looking for, actually. All right, so with the 4, I brought on Lieutenant Callahan. He pulled the shock off this beaten up squad here. With one of the 3s, I pulled a point of shock from the Firefly, and it's going to be firing back down the road onto the Panzer IV. So it'd be a 5 in the open, but I have a point of shock, so needing 6 on 2d6. And I hit. Okay, so it is a AP strike of 12. Needing 5s or 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits from that 17-pounder. And the,
Armor 6.
yep, armor 6 for the Panzer IV.
Come on, Dak dice. Don't fail me now.
1. So that's pen by 4, which it's knocked out. On a 5 or 6, it explodes. It does not explode, so the junior leader isn't killed, but the armored vehicle is knocked out. So we're going to have to actually pull up that chart from one of the supplements. Okay, so the Panzer IV is knocked out, and an armored fighting vehicle knocked out. Ted rolled a 5, and that was 2 on the force morale, bringing him down to 6. And with the final 3, this section here is going to be activated, and they're going to fire on them. So 12 shots with the Bren and the Rifleman, needing 5s and 6s. That's 3, 6 hits on 2 teams. 2 teams in the open. So on the team that has the shock, that's 2 dead and a point of shock. And 2 dead on the other one. Is your leader hit?
I'm wrong.
He is. So what happens to that junior leader? He is wounded. So we'll get that all marked up. So with the Panzer IV getting knocked out and this squad really getting just hosed, Ted has decided that he's going to withdraw from Table 2. So we will do all the end of game stuff and get back with the results. All right, so here we are to wrap it up. So for the British, we lost 2 men killed. 1 man is heavily wounded, and 1 man will be returning on the next game. The CO's opinion of Lieutenant Callahan went up by 1. So he is currently at a 2. The men did not like losing Sergeant Atkins, so they dropped from a 0 to a -1. And Lieutenant Callahan's outlook remained exactly the same. The killed Sergeant Atkins was replaced by the Corporal Freddie McDonald from Section 2. So next game, he'll have a reduced command radius and command initiative until the men accept him. And Section 2 is now being led by a Corporal Alfred Andrews, who is 23 years old, of average build, and a farm boy. He too will have a reduced command initiative and command range. Now, the Germans lost 3 killed, was it 2 heavily wounded, yes, and 2 returning next game. The CO's opinion
went down by 1.
Yeah, it went down by 1. Men's opinion is
went down by 1.
Went down by 1 to 0, and
confused.
Yeah, he went from retiring to confused. So that was a pretty brutal slugging match for game 2. So Ted, how was your how did your plan go?
I mean, overall, I kept you on your side of the board, but as far as the results, how doing it, it was heavily costed. The tank got knocked out for the game.
Oh yeah, the tank's gone now until the new platoon comes in.
And then lost some troops, and sometimes the dice are with you, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, you were considering withdrawing, and you're like, oh, let me play out one more turn, see how it goes, and well, that's how it went.
Go with your first instinct.
Yeah. But yeah, my plan got a little hairy. I was thinking, I got this hardcover, so my plan was to create kind of that base of fire right there and start probing your flanks while rolling up the tank. And I mean, it worked, but I was not expecting this squad here to just get absolutely wrecked by that close range fire. But I was kind of invested at that point. I was like, I need to knock your force morale down so I don't lose 7 men and a senior leader. And yeah, it paid off. So next time we'll be attacking your main line of resistance, and I expect it to be another slugging match like this. So we're Little Roadie Wargaming. Hope you enjoyed this double game of our first bat rep for Operation Martlet. And, as always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're already subscribed, hit that bell so you get notified when we post the next one. Leave a comment. We'd definitely love to hear your opinions on how some of this went. If we made any mistakes, if you have any suggestions for how to run this campaign, would love to hear it. And we'll see you for the next one.